All right, testing. Okay, so anyways, hey McGonagall, Kitty's in the video, trying to be a helpful girl. Yes, you are. Love you. So anyways, it's Adam, and I'm gonna be trying something a little bit different today. It's probably not gonna be a normal thing. I hope you guys can hear me. I hope the audio is not too weird. But I will be, well, kind of defacing my leaf cuttings right now, because what else would a normal 15-year-old boy be doing on a Monday at 5:15 a.m.? Probably sleeping, but you know what? That's not my thing. So, this isn't gonna be like a normal thing to have it on this camera. Just on my laptop, I kind of don't like this quality already. But you know what? It's gonna be just a thing that maybe I do every once in a while, just in order to be able to get more videos to you guys. So I'm gonna lift these out here, lift out my African violets and my peperomias from the big propagation chamber, which is literally just an old greenhouse kit for children that I've had for a while, just kind of sitting in the back doing nothing after years of not using it. So I'm just going to kind of disassemble it, take the lid off, take the plastic tray out, take my cuttings out, and we can just go ahead and, you know, there's little pieces of like peat moss and perlite, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of get those to the end, and I'm going to dump this out real quick. Not too much there. So now let's get to the real main thing here. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to put a little bit of water in this and kind of rinse it out. And basically, I don't know where this kit came from, just in case any of you want to ask. I'm not sure where it came from. I have no clue, actually, so I apologize for that. But it just came from some catalog, I believe, and I got it as a Christmas present a couple years ago, and it's just been sitting there doing nothing for a while. So I decided to use it to propagate some African violet leaves and also some peperomia leaves, because I'd never successfully gotten them to root and then get new plantlets. I've done it in water before and it worked for a little bit, but then the water evaporated and they dried up. And sometimes I'd have it happen, and then as soon as I put them in soil, after I put them in water, they just die. So this is the first time I've got it to go right. Basically, I have 6 leaves of African violets, and all of them have roots. Now, I did do a little bit of a miniature check. I didn't check all of the leaves, of course, but I do think I know about most of the progress. I'm going to go grab something real quickly. I had to go grab a wooden skewer. I love these things, by the way. I'm just going to show you guys how I do this. And basically, this is just part of caring for your African violet or any sort of leaf cuttings that you're growing in this manner. This is one thing that I've done that's really made some of the difference too, is you don't want to uproot them too many times. You don't want to disturb them. But when this potting mix that I have, this rooting mix, it'll actually start to kind of compact and also get really dry. And when that happens, you kind of have to refresh it a little bit. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of grab my wooden skewer and kind of lift underneath each plant leaf. Now, I did check this one cutting last night. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of shake it off a little bit here. And I don't think you're going to be able to see it, which is why I really wish I had a full quality. But I planted these in like mid to late February, and so I was wondering when they would get new plantlets, because they'd had roots for quite a while. It took a while for them to get roots, but then once they finally did, I was so happy. And then this one actually started, the leaf itself started getting bigger, so I had to cut the top off to keep it from growing. Now, I don't know if you can actually see, you can see the big root ball here, but if you look right there, kind of above here, there's 2 little things that are poking out somewhere in here. I gotta like be able to figure out what I'm pointing to. Right above my finger right there. Those are actually little plantlets, the little buds, and there's two that I see right now. There's two little ones, and I'm extremely excited about that because I've been waiting for a while. I know it usually takes about 4 months. So end of kind of mid to end February, and then all of March, and now we're heading into, it's April 2nd today, so I think we're right on track. This is a big piece of a sphagnum moss here. We'll just kind of tear that up a little bit. Don't want to waste any medium, so gonna go ahead and just kind of uproot each of these. Now you don't want to do this too often. I only do this when the rooting medium that I'm growing these in starts to compact, but it does give me a good opportunity to check my plants. One part of plant maintenance is to make sure that the roots are healthy. So the cutting I already showed you is way farther along than the other ones. Sorry, I talk a lot. I just realized. Sometimes I forget how much I talk. This one is way farther along than the other one. So this one here I planted them all at the same time, so I don't know why this one has more roots than the rest of them. At least last time I checked, and last time I did this process, yeah, that's how it was. But yeah, if you really want to, you can use a spray bottle and kind of just like mist some of the potting medium off of the roots so that you can get a better view. They're all rooting nice and well, though. Doing a great job. This little runty one here, I don't even think this one's... I know it has roots. Yep, it has roots, but it's barely any. I was actually surprised this one rooted. I kind of expected it to die, but I kept it anyways, because I don't want to waste any part of a plant that can potentially be used. So I at least try. Another one, doing nice. We'll take this last guy out here. This one's a big guy. This one might surprise me. Nope. Nope. About the same amount of roots as the other ones, with the exception of that monster. Monster in a good way, of course. So yeah, those are all the African violets. Now we can take out these peperomias, and this guy here, the bottom section, still no roots. Unless that's a piece of... Yeah, that's just perlite. Dang it. But the other two sections, this guy is really impressive. Got a lot of roots going on it. This is a peperomia. Clusiifolia. And the top section also has roots now. So now let's get into the real part of it. We're going to go ahead and take this wooden skewer, and you could also use like a spoon or whatever you want to use to propagate them. You can use your fingers if you want to. And you just want to kind of loosen this medium up. So you don't want to you don't want the medium to compact too much on your plants, otherwise it can cause the medium to stay moist for too long, and not get enough air circulation into the roots, which can cause issues, cause a lot of fungus and rotting, which you do not want. The opposite of what you want. You want nice, healthy growth. So what we got here, we're just going to go ahead and mix all of this up a little bit. We're going to kind of take the bottom and bring it to the top, just to kind of make sure everything gets nice and loose. It's also a little bit dry, so I will be right back with another tool. Okay, so I got a spray bottle, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually kind of spray a little bit of the water off of these roots, just so I can kind of examine them. I'm not gonna do it off of all of them, just this one African violet, because this is the one I really want to see. See if I can give you guys a closer look at these little plantlets that are forming. Now you can kind of see them. Those two little kind of greenish white things that are kind of growing up off of the base of the petiole or the leaf stem. Those are little baby African violets that this thing produced. So I've got some water in here, and we're gonna go ahead and just kind of, we're not even misting it. We're using the kind of jet stream, and we're gonna go ahead and, because this mixture has dried out a little bit, it's still almost damp. It's not completely dry, so we're not going to add too much water. We don't want it to be soaking. We just want it to be, you know, kind of slightly past damp. And it's okay if you get a little bit of water on the leaves while you're doing this. If it was the mature plant that you were growing, don't get water on the leaves, but since we're just propagating from these leaves, it's okay. So we're just going to go ahead and spray some water throughout this, and we're going to mix it up. Make sure it gets all evenly combined, because the top is quite wet, but the bottom is still a little bit dry. So we're going to go ahead and mix just to get the moisture thoroughly throughout and make sure that this whole thing is just a little damp. So yeah, we're going to mix this up. And we want to go ahead and we can just take our spray bottle here to do this, and we can take the bottom. We don't want to compact this, so we don't want to press it down too much. We just want to make sure that the entire thing is nice and level. So we're going to go ahead and flatten this out without pressing it down so hard that it's compact and tight. We want it to still be nice and light and fluffy. So now we're going to go ahead and start inserting our cuttings again. This can be a little bit more difficult when they have roots. So this one doesn't have any roots yet, so it can just go straight back in the way it was before, not too deep. This is a peperomia once again, peperomia. So we're gonna go ahead and then make a little furrow for the top section and the middle section. And what I like to do is I actually like to create kind of like a wide hole, like a shallow wide hole, since they have roots. And we just want to make sure it's kind of a little bit wide. I think this is a perfect size for the top section, and you want to make sure that it's wide enough that you can lay the roots down, because the roots on mine tend to grow a little bit. I want to say that it's horizontally, but I'm not exactly sure. They kind of grow kind of flat, so I'm hoping that's a good thing, because I've never actually gotten peperomia leaves to root before until now. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and pot all of these leaf sections up before we do anything else. This guy is my winner. This is my biggest, most fully rooted plant cutting out of all of them, and I'm so happy about that. So now that we have this done, we can just kind of gently press it down and get started on the African violets. And what we want to do here is we want to start in the back, and we're going to create a furrow at a slight kind of 45-degree angle, because when we cut these, or if you did it with me when I did the video, which actually I don't think I actually posted because there were camera issues, I cut each of my African violets at a 45-degree angle, cut the petioles, so that I can lay them like that. But this is my runty one, so I'm going to use a bigger African violet leaf at the back. Yeah, so we want to kind of lay them like that, like they would if they were in the parent plant. They kind of lay almost flat. They lay at a slant. So I'm going to use my big leaves at the back, but I'll use my leaf that's made the most progress at the front, since that one's going to have plantlets before the rest of them. Just make sure that they're in there. They don't have to be too tight. So I'm going to come back when I finish planting. Got one last one here. This is the one with the biggest root system, so we're going to go ahead at an angle again. Make sure that the plantlets are facing up, because if they had to grow downwards, that would not be an easy journey. We've got to make the hole a little bit wider. Don't want to pack the roots in too tightly. You want to make sure that they have enough space and room. That should be just perfect like that. I wish I had a better camera so that I can show you. But yeah, the plantlets are just below the soil surface. Now we're just going to go ahead and just water just a little bit around the bases of each of the plants, and I found this to be quite helpful. And our next step, add some water to our tray, and this will create some humidity. We just want it to be very shallow. We don't want the pan, that we're growing our plants to be sitting in water. We just want a tiny little shallow layer for evaporation and humidity. And then we're going to place our tray back in here. Nice and carefully. And then we're going to turn our nozzle to spray setting so that we can get some nice mist. Now I'm going to put this back on my furnace by the window where it's going to get plenty of bottom heat. Bye guys. Hope you enjoyed.